This is the best way to animate text in DaVinci Resolve, because keyframing and Text Plus by hand is pretty outdated. This is the new TextMotion, one plugin with over 67 million text animation combinations. Every animation you're seeing right now is made with it, and it's super fast. Everything plays back smooth in real time on your timeline, and there's no need for smart render cache or waiting, even with motion blur on. It comes with a new update for the animated text pack, and if you already own the pack, it's completely free. First I'll show you how to install it, and then afterwards I'll show you how to use it. Let's get right into it. So now let's just start off by installing the pack. So when you get the pack, you get a zip file, so we'll just start off by unzipping that one. And then inside of this zip, you can see there's a lot of different files. So we have an installer for Linux, we have an installer for Mac, and an installer for Windows. So you'll just choose the installer for your operating system. I am on a MacBook, so I'll just choose this one right here. Just double tap on the one you're going to use, and then you'll just go through everything. So just click on install, write your password, and then I'll just press on allow here, because then we'll let it install in the DaVinci Resolve folders. Now you have to restart DaVinci Resolve, because if you don't restart, there can come some error messages from DaVinci Resolve, so just do that now. So when you have restarted DaVinci Resolve, you can go under effects here, and then you can see we have two folders. So one is for the animated text plus presets, and the other one is for the new TextMotion, which I will show you how to use in this video right here. So you're just going to take this and drag it onto your timeline when you want the animation to happen. And then we can see we have a lot of controls in here. So by default, you will already get a nice letter animation that's coming on, but you can also go up here and choose whichever preset you want. So you can do elastic word slide up, for example, like this one right here. You can basically do any animation you want, but I'll just do let's do a letter slide up like this one, which is elastic, and then you can choose whatever you want to write. So I'll just write this is way too easy, and then you can choose if you want the letter case to be normal, if you want it to be capitalized letters only, or if you want it to be small letters only. I'll just make it normal, and then I'll choose a font called SF Pro, which is the Apple font to give this Apple style look. Then you can choose the size of the text, so I'll just leave it at default. You can also choose the tracking, so I'll just drag this down a little bit. Letters will be a little bit closer to each other, and if you have multiple lines, you can also choose the line spacing. Justify is basically just choosing the anchor point. So if we do like this, you can see we write from left to right. I'll just do center for now, and also we can enable the fusion overlay. Then you can see if we change the justify, this also changes. And then you can also change the position if you want to move it somewhere else. Now we can change the color if we want to, or we can even make it a gradient. So as you can see here, the gradient doesn't look completely like this, so we'll just need to drag in a little bit so the white is more in, and also so the blue is more in, and then we actually have a gradient that easy. And it even comes with character level styling as well. So if we want, for example, where it says too easy to be green, then we can enable character level styling, and just drag this one over and drag this over to choose which characters we're going to affect. And then I'll just make it the screen color here, and we can even make it let's do a italic bold version of the font, and that's pretty cool. We can also add more character level styling, so if we want where it says this to have a different look, for example, we can size that up if we want to, like this. I don't want to do that now. I think this looks good, so I'll just leave that as it is. Then we can go into the animation page, and this is here where all the fun stuff happens. So this is here where we can choose how our animation is going to look. So right now you can see we have letter animation, but we can also make it word. So it's word like this. Then we'll just need to drag up the delay between a little bit, like this, because all of this is working in frames, so we need to drag that up a little bit. We can also do line animation. So let's say we have multiple lines like this here. You can see they animate up just a short amount after each other. We can also do whole text, so it's the whole text animating on, but for now I'll just stick to letter, or we can also do word. That's also super cool. Then if we want the animation to start a little bit into the animation right here, so then we can just press on set start, and then it will start at this point over here instead. So that's pretty cool. We can also set the out, so if we want the out to be later, we can do that here. When we do that, it will automatically delink the in out, so it can set a new offset. So the way this works right here is basically it just writes the current frame we're on onto the offset here. So as you can see, when I go to frame 0, the offset will be 0. Then you can choose if you want the in animation or the out animation or both. So if we don't want the out animation, we can remove that. If we only want to animate out, not in, we can also do that. Then we can also link them together, so that's done by default. So then if we change the length of the in animation, it will automatically also change the length of the out animation, which is pretty cool. The delay between this, as I said before, this is just the delay between the words coming on or the letters animating on. Then the easing is just the easing mode. So if I just do elastic here, we can enable this super clean graph. So then we will be able to see a graph of the animation. So if we make it longer, we can see that. If we increase the delay, we can see this here. That's when every single word is animated on. And we can size this up a little bit so it's easier to see. If we have the fusion overlay enabled, we can also just do it right here. Then we can choose in the graph if we only want to see the in, the out, or follow it. And then we can choose how zoomed in we are to it. So for example, I'd want it to be elastic animation in, but an ease animation out. So then we can just de-enable the link out easing, and then we can have a exponential out, for example. We can also, in the in, we can maybe do like a custom curve, so we can do something like this if we want to, but I'll just keep it at elastic. So right now you can see it animates out with exponential, but let's say we want the out animation to be like everything animating out, not only words. So then we can just enable link animate by, and then we can do all instead. So then we'll animate out by all, which is pretty cool. I'll just remove this graph I'm showing here, and it's also super important that you remove that when you are rendering animation, because if you don't do that, you will have this graph in your video, which isn't too good. So that's basically how you do this. Right under here, you can see we have a lot of possibilities with the animations we can choose. So right now, by default, it's only a position and a fade up animation, but you can choose whatever you want. So let's say, for example, also in the position here, we wanted to animate out, but it just mirrors it out. So if it goes up, then it will go down out, but we would like it to go up and then slide up again when it should go out. Then we can just de-enable this mirror out, and then it will animate up like this, which is pretty cool. We can also make the exit animation a slide right if you want to. So then we can just do like this here and increase how far it will slide. Which is also pretty cool. We can also play with some of the other animations. We can, for example, do a scale animation if we would like to, which can also look pretty cool. We can also do blur animation. And as you can see, we can't really see the blur right now, only if we pause the frame. And the reason why this happens is because we're using something called fast playback. And if we use this is on the support page, by the way, you won't be able to see like the best quality, but it will be super fast in the playback. So for example, if we go here, we can't see the blur, but if we pause the frame, we will be able to see the blur. If we de-enable this, we can see the blur all the way. So that's pretty cool. I'll just enable this once again just to keep the fast playback. And yeah, as you can see, there is so many different animation types you can use. We can also use this erode one, which I like a lot. So if we just de-enable the blur again, choose erode, then we can make this super clean erode. And then we just will make it exponential and then slide. Then you can see we get this really clean erode animation. Also, let's just go back to what we did before with a slide up like that and make it elastic again. Then we can make it a color animation, which is also really cool. So then we can make it when it starts the animation, it's green. So for example, here you can see the white letters is green in the beginning, which also gives a super cool look. So as we can see right now, it is not that green, and a way we can make it more green is we can basically just go into timing here, and then we can delay the in offset a bit, then it will be green for longer. That makes sense. So that's pretty cool. And let's say we don't want the color here to animate out, we only want it to animate in. So right now you can see it also becomes green when it's animating out, but then we can just de-enable the out here, then it won't be green when you should animate it out. Also, let's say you don't want it to be like sliding out, you only want it to be sliding in and just fading out. We can go up here to the position, then we'll just do mirror out, do custom again, and then just remove the out here. Then you can see when we get to the end of the clip, it will just fade out normally. So in this way, you can choose custom in animations, custom out animations, and you can basically do anything you can think of. As I said in the intro, there is 67 million animation combinations, so there's a lot of things you can try. So even if you just tried one animation every single day in your lifetime, you wouldn't be able to finish trying all the animations, which is pretty sick to think of. But yeah, we also have this tab called the continuous animation, and in this tab right here we can add this really cool like continuous different animation. So here you can see it's like a scale animation where it's adding like a pulse scaling to each letter, but you can also make it like so So it's just pulsing all the text with this thing right here. Then you can just do all instead of letter. Then you can choose how much it should scale, how fast it should go, and like the offset per character. This looks pretty funky, but that's also a look you can go for if you want to. I usually like to do time scale here sometimes if you just want to add a little bit of motion into your clip. So then you can also choose if you want to scale by the letters or the whole text. I usually do a whole text. Then you can see it just scales up a little bit over the time of the clip here, which is also pretty cool. And we have all of these different styles we can go for. So my personal favorite one is the one called jitter. It gives us this pretty nice jitter look here with the letters, where it's a little bit jittery. And this is really nice to compare if you do like these stop motion animations. So then you can add like stop motion, and then you can see we get this really clean jittery look. That's a look I really like. For now, I'll just enable this, and then we can take a look at the color here. So with this one here, you can add like a color pulsing thing going through it. You can see this is pretty cool for like stuff like SAS animations. Yeah, I'll just go back to what we came from. But yeah, there's various of different continuous animations as well. You can also add this position thing, this wavy position thing. You can also do like opacity, which is kind of like the color one right here, just with fading down the opacity, and also tracking. Then it just scales up like this. You can also do time scale, so over the clip it goes out like this, and this is really popular for like these cinematic titles you also can buy packs of. And then another really cool page is the styling page. So this is where we like do all the final stuff on. So here you can add like glows to your text, a high quality glow, which also renders super fast because we have done something in the code of the new TextMotion where it's kind of like freezing the frame if there's no motion in the frame, which allows you to get super fast playback. Also, you can see when we play it and we have enabled fast playback, it looks a little bit lower quality, but again, this just helps us render it faster because this is a multi-layered glow, which basically means there's multiple blur layers, which makes it look better and more detailed. We can also add like outline if we want to, so you can't see that right now, but you can add that. And with this one, you can like choose the size of the outline and also choose like the roundness. So if you want it to be like square look, you can do that. You can also make it round. I'll just enable that for now. You can also do shines. So as you can see here, if I just make the sweep count, maybe we can do 2. We can add like these super clean shines to it, which also looks super clean as well. And that's pretty much it. So if you experience any bugs with it or anything, you can see we have a contact us thing here. Then you can just fill in the form and then explain what you experienced. Or you can join our Discord server and we can chat in there and about what your problem is. That's the new Animating text pack update. And if you want to stop wasting hours in every single project on animating text animation, the link's right down below. And if you're already on the pack, it's completely free. Just install the new version in your mailbox. And if you run into any bugs, just join my Discord server or submit an email through the form on my website. Both are linked down in the description. We update the pack all the time, so anything you report, we will fix super fast. And just a quick disclaimer, if you see anything in your version of the pack that isn't in this video, probably because we have already updated the pack, so don't worry about that. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.